Good evening, everybody. Seems like we tuned in just a tad late there. We missed the start. We got them going down the main straight. Let's see if we can see who's in the lead here. Seems to be the Munna. That's right, it's Munna in the lead. We have some AI cars in the field today, just to fill up the grid and maybe spice things up. So looking for our next driver. That would be Vimpy in 5th, DW in 6th, Wazzy in 7th, and Deathseeker in 8th. So and then Gavin Judge in 11th and 12th. We're at the Brno circuit in Czechoslovakia. Originally called the Masaryk circuit, built in 1930, and yeah, it was originally it was a much different track. Today, it's a circuit that consists of 15 corners. When it was built, it was a circuit that contained, I believe, 53 corners and was 31 kilometers long. Now, just a 5.4 kilometer circuit used for MotoGP mostly, also used for Formula 3 and FIA GT. Unfortunately, there's no lap record around here in a Formula 1 car because a Formula 1 car has never been around here. The closest we've ever gotten is a Formula 3 car, and that lap time I believe was a 1:39.0. So that's your outright lap record around this circuit. Munna currently in the lead of the race. Got a healthy gap down to second. 8 seconds actually. Unfortunately, with the initials, I see there's a battle here for 3rd and 4th, but I can't tell you which is which because both say TnB. So let's just look at our timing screen here. So I can just see who's who. EW's in 3rd, Wazzy's in 4th. Wazzy actually quite new to this game. Had his debut last week. So this would be his second race. Looks to be quite happy with the car early on. So he's obviously got a much better feel for it. I think when you're doing endurance races, you can learn quite quickly. If you manage to finish one or two of these races, you've spent a lot of time in the car and a lot of time on the track, and bit of a collision there between TnB Wazzy and TnB DW. Wazzy now up into 3rd place, and he wants 2nd. He's right there. There's a bit of contact. He goes sideways, backwards into the gravel. That's going to demote him to 4th. He's not going to be happy with that. Have a look at Deathseeker now. Deathseeker's in 5th place and he's challenging Wazzy. He's going for the inside. Will he brake late enough? No, he backs out of it. Thinks better of it. He's still at it. Was he trying to maybe regain his momentum? Deathseeker taking advantage of that. Just have a look where some of our other drivers are. Brno still leads this race. Leads by 13 seconds. We've got an AI car in second. We've got TnB DW in third. And TnB Wazzy in fourth. Deathseeker still in fifth. Gavin in ninth. And the judge in 10th. Wimpy at the moment running around at the back with a 10-second penalty, and he's in 12th. So not quite sure what happened there. Brno continues to lead the race, got a clean track ahead of him. 15 seconds now, that gap. Still got that AI car running around in second place. TnB DW, he's going to challenge that car. He wants second place. Needs to start closing up that gap to Brno in first. He's been allowed to open that gap far too much in the opening laps. Want to close that up. Right on the tail here of second place. And TnB Wazzy is coming back. He's left Deathseeker 3 seconds behind him. So definitely making up ground. Let's have a look further down. Got Gavin running in ninth. Also having an eventful start to the race. There's the judge. He's running around in 11th. And then in last place in 12th we've got Wimpy. He's got that 10-second penalty. But still a very long time to go. An hour and 22 minutes. So much can happen. This Brno circuit, originally in 1930 when it opened, it was actually a street circuit. It had nothing to do with the circuit you see in front of you now. The circuit you see in front of you now is actually built inside where the old circuit was. The old circuit goes around it. The judge that's now running around in 12th, so he's gone to the back of the field. Let's have a look what's happening in the front. Got TnB DW in second, TnB Wazzy in third. They're at it again. Seems like TnB Wazzy's got him. He's got him down the inside. Nicely done. Just going a little bit wider than he would have liked. And Wazzy taking full advantage. The DW is not going to give up the position just like that. Just remember that endurance racing, sometimes track position is not everything. It's great to see a battle. In first place, still got the winner. Been there since the beginning of the race. That's 6 now. Hour and 20 minutes remaining. So we've only had 10 minutes. And a lot's happened in this field. Let's have a look at Death Seeker. Death Seeker's still running around in 5th. At one stage he was threatening to pass Wazzy. Wazzy got away again. And now he finds himself in 2nd, but those two, 2nd and 3rd, very similar pace. And I think could be interesting over the next hour and 20 minutes. If these two can keep the same sort of pace and stay in the same general area on track, I think we're going to see more of this battle. Another format this circuit has been used for is, of course, the A1 Grand Prix. It's quite an enjoyable format. Not quite sure why it stopped. But they used Brno for the Czechoslovakian round of A1. Second and third now, just opening up a bit of a gap, 1.5 seconds. Let's watch Mona going around in the lead of the race comfortably. Got a 20-second lead. It's right on board with him. Really makes it look that easy, so easy. TnB he is making up a little bit of ground. That gap dropping below 20 seconds. Made up half a second on this lap. So he's finding the pace. And nice to see no cracked windscreens. Just have a look here. Just want to have a look at some of the lap times. See who's got the best lap time. Seems to be Munna. 203.7. So Wazzy definitely has the pace. It's matching Munna for pace. On that last lap, he was Wazzy was half a second adrift. So Wazzy showing pace and Munna reacting. And he is reacting. Look at that gap, 25 seconds. Is he just getting the foot down, or is Wazzy conserving? Because that gap increased quite rapidly. TnB DW still going around in third place. I think he'll also be happy to be there. Stay away from damage. Just keep the fast laps up. First, second, and third all having clean races so far, except for that collision I saw for Wazzy when he actually came. He was trying to pass an AI car on the inside, and there was just a nudge, and it was enough to spin him around, send him back to fourth, where Deathseeker almost tried to pass him, almost got it right, but Wazzy got away from that and then passed DW. And now finds himself in second. So he's had really good pace. Be interesting to see where he would be if it wasn't for that spin. Deathseeker nicely done up the inside. He takes fourth place. Will he keep it? Seems like the AI cars don't give it up that easy. But he closes the door firmly. And it seems like that's it. Deathseeker fourth place. Just needs to get away from that AI car. Gavin's going around in ninth. We know he's got pace. It's obviously just not having a great start. It's a minute adrift of the leader, but we know that in the endurance class racing, a minute can disappear very quickly. All it takes is an unwanted pit stop and that's it. It seems like Wimpy's left the session. Not sure what happened there. If we get any feedback, we'll let you know. But yeah, he's just left the session. And unfortunately in this game it doesn't give you much chance. People just literally disappear off track. There's no ghosting or anything like that. So TnB Wazzy there, second place. 26 seconds adrift of the leader. That's another thing we can have a look at. Let's see who's doing what with fuel. different fuel loads. TnB, we've missed that. He's come into the pits. I only got him on the exit. Well, he's returned to the track in 9th place, 6 seconds behind Gavin. So, the first man to react and to jump into the pits. As I say that, judge in the pits. How much longer will Wazzy in 2nd place go? Well, he's got a lot more fuel than TnB Munna. Sorry, the Munna. It's going to be interesting. He can obviously go much longer than the leader. How much longer? Munna flashes his lights there. He gets past the lapped car. The pit stop of DW has promoted Deathseeker. He's in 3rd place at the moment. He's having a good race. I think he's just had a clean race really, and hasn't gotten his hands dirty too much. And that's why he finds himself in quite a promising position. Now Gavin's got a lot of fuel, so he's not going to be stopping anytime soon. And it looks like DW's catching him. He's going to have to pass him on track. I don't think he's coming in for a pit stop. Gap now between the leaders, 1st and 2nd, almost 30 seconds. Briefly touched 30 seconds, then went back into the 29s. Gonna at the moment just got something extra. It's got less fuel than Wazzy, so Wazzy can go on longer. It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out at the front. The moment we go to 8th, battle for 8th place. Well, that's the vet. That's DW. He passes Gavin for 8th. I'm not sure what happened there, but seems like Gavin just ran really wide. I don't know if he was giving up the position or if it was a mistake, but easy pass there for DW, and he goes up into 8th place. And now he's going to come up to a whole bunch of AI cars. The first one is just 3 seconds up the road, and then he's got 4 AI cars he's got to get past. We're on lap 12. Top 3 are the Munna, TnB Wazzy, and Deathseeker. Then we've got an array of AI cars from 4th place down to 7th. Then in 8th we've got DW. 9th we've got Gav, and in 11th place we've got the judge. He seems to have a penalty. Let's just see what that penalty is all about. About a 10-second penalty. Gap at the front, very much the same. 28 seconds now. Seems like every now and then Wazzy's able to pull a little bit back. Just hovering around that that sort of mark between 27 and 30 seconds. But Deathseeker still in third place, falling further back. He not so long ago was 40 seconds adrift of the leader, now it's 52, so he's lost a lot of time. And if he continues to lose time at this rate, he's going to have a whole bunch of AI cars to deal with. Followed by DW. Now DW in 8th, Gavin in 9th. They're both starting to close in on these AI cars. You've got to be careful now, this is when you can see mistakes. Let's go down to 11th place. We'll find the judge. Always want to finish races. I'm not sure if the AI cars retire. Let's actually ask DW about that. Do they make mistakes? Do they retire? I don't know. Well, Wazzy will tell you they make mistakes because he got a nudge that sent him facing in the wrong direction. And I think that 27-second gap would be a lot smaller if that incident didn't happen. EW now up to 7th place. He's passed one of the AI cars. Let me see. Who did he pass? This guy has a name. Oh wow. A name I cannot pronounce. That's why no surname should start with a Q. Well, I'm not going to try. His first name is Christian. And then... yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I can read pretty much all of them, but the one I wanted to read, I cannot pronounce. BW's got another 3 seconds gap between himself and 6th. So he's got some clean air now. Deadseeker still holding on to 3rd place. Now the tyres still look in relatively good condition, but the fuel is very low. Seems the man in 2nd place was he obviously had his debut last week. Seems like he's really taken a liking to this. Seems to be getting it right. 28 seconds adrift of Munna. We all know how fast Munna is. So for his 2nd time out, doing a great job. Deadseeker 3rd. He's let that gap. When he first got into 3rd, the gap was about 38 seconds. It's now a minute. So he's holding on to 3rd, but losing a lot of time. 1st and 2nd are doing extraordinary lap times. Let's just pull up the timing screens quickly. Just want to have a look on the last lap. What did the leaders do? I can tell you on the last lap, Munna did a 2:05 flat, and TnB Wazi did a 2:05.3, and nobody else is anywhere near that. Deadseeker did a 2:08, as did DW. All the AIs seem to be doing 2-minute 10s. So, 2 fastest men on circuit right now are first and 2nd place. Seems like we've lost the judge. Let me have a look here if I can see why. Well, I'm not seeing anything yet, but he has retired and left the session. Not sure what happened. And Gavin has also left. I believe they were in the same party chat, so maybe just coming to the conclusion that today was not their day. Not sure. Retired within the same lap. Still at the front, the Munna. 26 seconds now, so that gap is coming down ever so slightly. But now surely the pit stop by the Munna is going to be coming up. Not this lap, maybe not the next, but I'd say in the next 5 to 6 laps he's got to come in. I'm not sure if it's just me, or if it's just my TV screen, or if my internet is doing some really crazy things, but I think I see raindrops. There's a drop on my screen, and on certain corners you see it more. On other parts of the track you don't see it yet, but I think, look at that in the forecast right there, storm. So we've got something coming. Now I don't think it's going to be raining enough just yet to go straight onto the wet weather tyre. This is actually, this could work out perfectly for your leader, the Munna. I'd say he's got another 4 laps of fuel in him. So if he keeps it going for another 4 laps and the conditions are ready for wets, works out perfectly. And he doesn't go into the pits, he stays out. I think he's going to stay out as long as he possibly can, so that he can go straight onto the wets. I think if he comes in right now and puts on wets, he'll destroy those wets. I don't think the track's quite ready for that. Another thing that's going to be interesting to see is this second half of the race. If it's going to rain, how are the drivers going to react? Is Wazzy still going to have his pace? I refer back to our race last week, and we had a wet qualifying. Wazzy didn't enjoy that too much, albeit it was his first qualifying session, but I'm sure the guys put in practice during the week, but I wonder how much practice they put in rain conditions. Well, that shall be revealed. Conditions starting to deteriorate, starting to look worse. Actually seeing a little bit of spray even. I was going to say that Munna's really stretching that fuel. Is he being conservative? And then I looked at the gap, and yeah, it's getting bigger. So he's clearly not being conservative. But TnB, he is in the pits. I wonder what the tyre situation's going to be. We'll soon find out. Well, I'm not sure if that's right. We'll come back to that. Where did that leave DW? It's in 7th place when he rejoins the track. And I think he's on slick tyres. If the information in front of me is correct, then he's on slick tyres, and wonder if that was just a mistake. We're now starting to snake around down the straight there, just battling to keep the back end of the car in a straight line. Conditions now becoming difficult. Only got about 10 litres of fuel left, so I think it would be a good time to come in. In the meantime, TnB Wazzy from second place, he's come into the pits. He is changing tyres. Can't really see yet what... I think he's on slicks. I hope this information is wrong. Surely now Munna's got to come in. He has stayed out the longest out of all the drivers. Wazzy has come in. Surely that's not right. Well, I'm getting incorrect information on my screen. Isn't that fantastic? As I say that, Munna now comes into the pits. Let's see what's going to happen with that gap to second place. When he emerges, he's got to put a lot of fuel in. Let's see what the gap is down to Wazzy as he exits the pits now. Yeah, and it's, well, a lot happened in that short range session. Gap was about 27 seconds, and now it's 58. Unfortunately, I can't tell you who is on what tyre, because my screen is simply telling me everyone is on slicks. That's why we need the different colours on the tyre. Munna leads this race. I can tell you when he came out of the pits, that gap was 1 minute 2 seconds. It's now 40 seconds. So I'm not sure if he's made a mistake. If he has, I've missed it. See what or how Wazzy is going around in second place. Seems to be a very different driver from last week. And as I say that, commentator's curse, into the corner, just losing the back end and spinning around, but getting back in the right direction pretty quickly and on his way. Commentator's curse strikes again. We've got Munna coming in again. Not sure what happened on the last pit stop, but he didn't put any fuel in, so there's no extra fuel in that car, so he's had to come in again. And this is going to be a lengthy pit stop, I think, because that tank was pretty empty. I can't tell you the gap between first and second right now because everything seems to be a little bit scrambled. Not sure what's happening. Tell you now that Wazzy's taken the lead. Munna's still sitting stationary. Now he gets back on his way. He's surrendered the lead of this race. Not sure if he made a mistake when he didn't put the fuel in. Not sure what happened there, but had to make basically 2 consecutive pit stops. And lost the lead of the race, and Wazzy is 23 seconds ahead of him, and that gap is coming down. Wazzy now starting to lap some AI cars in the rain. Can't be pleasant. Needs to clear these AI cars. There's that gap to second. And now look at that. You don't want to see that. Was he trying to get around the AI car and lap him around the outside? AI car runs wide and pushes him off onto the gravel. Actually seems like he's fighting him for position. Who is that? And it's it had to be the man that was getting lapped by Wazzy and fighting him for position. It had to be the guy I cannot pronounce. He will remain unnamed. Is in second place, but that gap is just 14 seconds now. Now I wonder between the two of them who's quicker in the wet. We saw that they could match each other in the dry. Can't tell you how quick they are just yet because Munna's last lap was an out lap. Still not sure why my screen is telling me everyone's on slicks. Very strange. Got to mention this man, still running around in third place, as he has been for a pretty long time. He's holding on to that podium position for now, but shortly he's going to have to fight for it. Just 4 seconds down the road. TnB DW, and He's had a race of ups and downs, so he'll want that podium position. Seeker running a little bit wide there. Back at the front, that gap now 13.5 seconds. The Mune is definitely closing in. Tell you on their last laps, or on their last lap, Mune is clearly the faster of the two in the wet. Set at 2 minute 13.2, where was he set at 2 minute 15.8. So 2.5 seconds off the pace there. Continue at this rate, that gap's going to close down in no time. 13 seconds for the time being. Now let's go back down and see what's happening here for third place. Gap just opening up slightly. Just 4 seconds. Now it's about 5.5. And I can confirm that the AI makes mistakes. Those two just went into each other, and the one who possesses the name I cannot pronounce, he left the circuit. So even the AI having fun at the back. It's good to see 9 runners. Of the 9 runners, 5 are AI, and your human drivers are the top 4. So good to see. On that last lap again, Muna was able to take 3 seconds out of Wazi. Actually, just looking at the lap times there between 3rd and 4th, Death Seeker and TnB DW. This Death Seeker was a second quicker basically on the last lap. I think it's not going to be long and we're going to have a battle for the lead. That gap now 10 seconds. TnB was he doing a 2 minute 15.2, and then Muna does a 2 minute 12.3. So, well, that's 2.9 seconds. Gap between Death Seeker and TnBDW now 4 seconds. Lights coming into effect. Not sure if they, in some parts of the track, looks like they even make things more difficult. We've got Death Seeker running very wide. He goes onto the gravel. He's going to lose a bit of time there. So watch this gap between third and fourth. We need to watch the gap at the lead as well. Another thing that I think needs to be mentioned, endurance racing. We're just short of 1 hour now, and our top 4 competitors are separated by 38 seconds. Over the distance of an hour, I'd say that's impressive, considering we've gone from a dry race to a wet race to multiple pit stops. Wazzy was almost in 5th at one place at one stage, so we've had an eventful race. And for everybody to be within, well, now it's 39 seconds, but for everybody to be within 39 seconds of each other after an hour, that's impressive. TnB was on the last lap, 2 minute 15.7. The Munna, 2 minute 12.7. Taking 3 seconds out of him a lap. Another thing you need to remember, if you probably are not aware, Munna has a 10-second time penalty. So if he's going to win this race, he needs to win this race by at least 10 seconds. If he just manages to get over the line in a photo finish, he's going to lose this race. So he needs to get into the lead and start building that gap again. Now we're riding on board in the cockpit with TnB Wazzy, who's currently in the lead of this race. He's coming up to it seems to be an AI car to be lapped. Hopefully there won't be any problems this time. I must tell you, it is quite strange. The AI cars do get the blue flags, but they almost seem to fight you for position. That gap now at the front, just 4 seconds. Has made up a lot of ground. right on board now with DW in 4th place. Was a lot closer to Death Seeker than what he is now. He's 10 seconds down the road from Death Seeker. Unfortunately, just one camera angle at a time. And didn't notice anything at the time. But now I see a 10-second gap. Still 27 minutes remaining in this race. Still a lot can happen. Are we going to see any sort of change in the weather? Is it going to be like this till the end? One-third of this race to go. And it's not decided yet. We're going to have that battle for first sooner than you think. That gap now is just 2.2 seconds. .8 seconds, so it continues to come down. We obviously got to keep our eyes on that. Could be interesting if cars get side by side in the rain. I think you're making a bit of a mistake there, taking too much of the curb on the inside. Loses traction and causes him to run wide slightly onto the gravel. Doesn't lose too much time, manages to get back on track pretty quickly, but that gap is now down to 8 seconds. Ozzy still in first, Munna still in second. And I'm not sure what's happened there. Well, I can't see Munna. Munna has left the session. That is not good news. It was so quick. It was getting very close to the leader, and something's gone wrong there. He disappeared from track and then appeared on the start-finish line stationary before disappearing from the circuit. And that's disappointing. Munna's going to drop out here in Brno from what was very possibly a race-winning position. Clearly he won't be a happy man right now. Well, that's left TnB Wazzy up in the front, leading this race by 41 seconds from Death Seeker. Now all he needs to do is hold it all together, and he could have his first win in what is only his second appearance. It's not ruled Death Seeker out of this just yet. It's just 42 seconds adrift, and we know that 42 seconds is very different in an endurance race with much longer pit stops. Is anyone going to pit again? Wazzy clearly doesn't need to pit unless the weather changes. Let's see, he's still got a lot of fuel. And if anyone's got to pit before the end of the race, let's say the one with the least fuel is DW. Just have the 8 runners still going around. 5 of them AI. 3 human drivers are TnB Wazzy in the lead, Deathseeker in second, and TnB DW in third. Nothing too eventful happening between the top 3 at the moment. All we can do at this stage is monitor the gaps. Let's see if well, Deathseeker doesn't have the pace of Wazzy, so that gap is just getting bigger lap by lap. And it seems like for the time being it's got the lap times over to DW. Let's have a look at the last lap. I can tell you on the last lap TnB Wazzy set a lap time of 2 minutes 3 seconds 0.5. Deathseeker was at 2:07, and DW 2:06. DW does have the pace advantage, just needs to string enough of those laps together. These conditions are not easy. And not only are these conditions not easy, I think it doesn't get mentioned enough that this game can be extremely unforgiving. So just 3 of our runners on track at the moment. Deathseeker really doing a fantastic job. Is that a relatively quiet race? Haven't seen him get into trouble too many times, and the mistakes he has made, that I've seen anyway, they've been small, and he's recovered quickly. Might not have had the ultimate pace of the initial 2 leaders. That's what endurance racing is all about. It's about patience. Didn't have the pace of the 2 leaders, but look at that, one of them dropped out, and he finds himself in second, and he's still maintaining that 10-second gap to third. So actually looking quite good to keep that position. Just looking at Wazzy's fuel, he's got a lot of fuel. I'm not sure why he's got that much fuel, but he's definitely not stopping. Deathseeker has less fuel than Wazzy, but yeah, I don't see any reason to stop, not in the next 15 minutes. And then DW, to be honest, I think he's got enough too. So I don't think we're going to see any more stops in this race, unless they're unplanned ones. Just silent there for a few moments, but it's so easy to go silent on this actually on this game. Some of the visuals are amazing. That gap between first and second definitely safe now. 50 seconds. Wazzy seems to have this covered. 13 minutes to go. It's really not a good time to announce how many minutes to go. I don't know why I announced it at 13. We go now into the final 10 minutes of the race. Really don't have any don't really have any new information to share. First, second and third still the same. TnB Wazzy followed by Death Seeker, followed by TnB DW. Shared quite a similar pace in the beginning of the race. But now found themselves a minute apart. Those are your top three. Those are the three that count. Unfortunately, the only three of our league races to finish. The rest of your finishes are, well, they're AI. It definitely adds something different to the race. I actually quite enjoy the element of having to lap cars. And even occasionally just making a mistake while passing one of these cars. It just makes things a little bit more interesting. I'll be back after about 5 minutes. I'm just gonna let you enjoy some of the footage. If I see anything on track, I'll be back. We rejoin now with 5 minutes remaining on lap 38. It's been an interesting hour and a half. Had a bit of everything. I'd have to say the most unfortunate part of the race is we were leading up to quite a battle for first between Wazi and Munna, when Munna suddenly disappeared from the lobby. It's left Wazi out in front. It's now a minute clear from Death Seeker. He's had a fantastic race to find himself in second. One stage he was amongst the AI for quite a number of laps. So he's done fantastically well to get through all of that unscathed, and quite a comfortable second place with just over 3 minutes remaining. soon find out how many laps to go, but 2 minutes 40 remaining on the clock. Now it depends if Wazzy's going to get over the line. If he's going to get over the line, should have another 2 laps. Mexico still in second. Having a bit of a hard time here. Going through on the inside. Nicely done. Doesn't want to get any damage at this late stage of the race. And then DW in 3rd place. Had a lot of pace in the beginning of the race. And then, I don't know if he sort of lost his way in the rain. Doesn't look that strong in the rain. Just a minute now to go in this race. Wazzy leads by a comfortable margin of 1 minute 2 seconds. And we'll find Death Seeker in 2nd place. And then a further 17 seconds down the road, DW. And those will be your only human finishes today. Everybody else has either dropped out or had internet issues. Now I wonder if he's going to get over the line here. Should probably just slow down. If he goes over the line, he's going to have to do another lap, but he has slowed down. Weaving over the start-finish line. Time is up. And there it is. TnB Wazzy, he's your winner. Last week he made his debut appearance in this format. And 2nd time out, he's won the race. And he's won it by a comfortable margin. Just waiting now for the time to run out. Death Seeker's probably going to get over the line. Well, everybody, I think that is your result. So I'm going to say thank you for joining us for round 3 at Brno. It was an interesting race. It was an interesting hour and a half. We started in the dry, then it got wet. People made mistakes in the pits, and we've had ups, we've had downs. We've lost a lot of drivers along the way. That's how it's going to finish. 1st place to Wazzy, 2nd place to Death Seeker, 3rd place TnBDW. And I think that's a great result for Death Seeker. Should definitely be happy with that, considering where he was in the beginning of the race. He is one of your biggest winners of the day. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us. Sorry about the problems at the beginning of the race, but I'll be back with you next week, same time. Thanks.